Have you ever stopped to think that the great secret to changing your life lies in what you do or fail to do every single day? I'm not talking about some magic formula or those empty promises flooding social media. I'm talking about something simpler, but far tougher. Forcing yourself to work on yourself every single day. Stoic philosophy teaches us that control over our actions and thoughts is the only thing we truly have. If you don't start taking responsibility, focusing and improving every day, do you expect life to change by magic? It won't happen. So, are you going to keep waiting for someone to do it for you? Or are you going to take control and transform your life right now? Pay close attention to today's video, because these 12 valuable lessons will give you the key to completely change your situation. Especially, don't miss number 12. It'll leave you speechless. But before we dive into the first one, if you find these videos helpful, I encourage you to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the latest content. Let's begin. 1. Nobody is going to save you. I know it doesn't sound nice. It's not the kind of motivational phrase you'd slap on a coffee mug or a GYM t-shirt. But let's cut to the chase. Nobody is going to save you. Not your partner, not your parents, not your boss, not that TikTok spiritual guru, burning incense and waving crystals. Nobody. The sooner you accept this, the better. This is the slap in the face you needed, even if you didn't ask for it. If you don't work on yourself, no one will do it for you. You can sit around waiting for things to magically get better. Or you can stand up, look in the mirror, and say, asterisk. All right, story's over. It's my turn, asterisk. Accepting this truth is like beating into a sour lemon, but it wakes you up. Most people prefer to numb themselves with distractions, inherited guilt, or pH raises like, asterisk, my time will come, asterisk. You know what? It won't come unless you make it happen. The problem isn't that you can't, it's that you're waiting for someone else to do it for you. Nobody's going to knock on your door with a personalized life plan and an invitation to a fulfilling existence. This isn't Amazon Prime. You have to force yourself to work on you every day, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Why? Because your life doesn't transform in moments of inspiration, but in those times when there's no epic background music and all you hear is your head telling you to put it off until tomorrow. Working on yourself is uncomfortable, sure, like doing push-ups with an emotional hangover, but every small action adds up. You don't need to go on a spiritual retreat in the Himalayas. Start small. Get out of bed when you said you would. Eat what you know is good for you. Read something that teaches you, not just entertains you. See where I'm going? Stoic philosophy said it centuries ago. Focus on what's up to you. The rest is out of your hands. What you can control is your discipline, your consistency, your decisions. Everything else is noise. Your life is like a garden. If you don't water it, don't expect it to bloom. Just because someone whistled nearby, you either cultivate it or the weeds take over. It's that simple. There's no middle ground. Either you choose to work on yourself or you choose to stay where you are. The drama is optional. Want to improve? Act. Want to change? Move. Want to transform your life? Then you know. Grind it out every day. Even if you don't see immediate results, This isn't Netflix. Real changes don't come in 30 minute episodes. And number, you don't need to become a productivity robot. Just be brutally consistent with the small stuff, brutally honest with yourself, and stop waiting for life to give you permission to live it. Nobody's going to save you. And believe me, that's not a curse. It's freedom. Because if it's up to you, then anything is possible. The day you stop waiting for someone to rescue you is the day you start building your own ship. 2. The law of minimum effort is destroying you. No need to swear it. We've all fallen into the temptation of I'll do it tomorrow. It's so cozy, so warm, so pleasant, like staying in bed 5 minutes longer when the alarm goes off. The problem is those 5 minutes turn into 10, 20, and suddenly your life slipped away. What's the biggest danger of comfort? It doesn't hurt. It doesn't itch. It doesn't bother. It just lulls you to sleep like a lullaby, rocking you until one day you wake up, wondering why your life is a loop of mediocrity wrapped in a pretty package. And worst of all, you realize you've done nothing, absolutely nothing, to break out of it. The LAW of minimum effort is treacherous. It's like that friend who always invites you to chill a bit when you should be building your future. It says things like it's fine to skip today, take a break, you deserve it, or the classic you've got plenty of time, and you believe it because it sounds good. It seems logical. You're tired, but it's a trap. You know what people who actually move forward do? They force themselves. Yes, you read that right. They force themselves. They don't wait for the mood to strike. They don't hunt for motivation in YouTube videos with epic background music. They get up. Even when everything feels heavy, they face their excuses, like a stoic facing a storm, calmly, determinedly, with a good dose of stubbornness. Force yourself to work on you every day, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it, because that's where you break the chain of comfort. While you're resting, life keeps running. And what you don't work on today, you'll pay for tomorrow. Want a metaphor? Picture yourself as a garden. If you don't pull the weeds every day, the ground gets overrun with bugs, thorns, and dead leaves. And you know what? Nobody's coming to tend it for you, waiting for everything to align. Before you start changing is like trying to plant flowers in the middle of winter. Nice in theory, useless in practice. Stoic philosophy didn't talk about living without pleasure, but about not letting pleasure make you a slave every time you coosh the cooch over the book, whining over action, or I'll do it later, over I'm doing it now, You're mortgaging your future for a few coins of comfort. I'm not saying become a relentless productivity machine with no rest or joy. I'm just saying don't confuse resting with giving up, or living calmly with not living at all. Personal growth isn't glamorous. It's not fun, and it's definitely not comfortable, but it's the only thing that truly transforms your life. So yes, force yourself. Do it even when you don't see immediate results, because every small effort counts, even if you don't feel it today. Your future isn't built on grand decisions, but on small daily choices. Remember this: if you keep doing what's easy, your life will be hard. If you do what's hard, your life will get easier. Comfort is a prison. with invisible bars you chose not to break. 3. Your mind is your worst enemy. There's a voice inside you that never shuts up. And number, it's not your conscience. It's that sneaky little voice, whispering things like, asterisk, you're not cut out for this. It's all going to go wrong. Asterisk. Or the Sunday afternoon favorite. Asterisk. Why even try when you know you'll fail? Asterisk. That voice doesn't need external enemies. It sabotages you from within. With surgical precision, your worst enemy isn't out there. It lives with you, sleeps with you, and eats your insecurities for breakfast. Yes, it's your mind. But here's the interesting part. That enemy can also be your greatest ally. It all depends on whether you decide to train it or let it train you. Picture your mind as a hyperactive monkey with a chainsaw. If you let it loose, it'll wreck your house, your self-esteem, and even your will to get out of bed. But if you tame it, if you teach it to carve wood instead of smashing doors, you've got an artist, or at least a functional monkey. Destructive thoughts work the same way. They show up, unannounced, repeat like a bad song. And if you do nothing, you start believing them. But no, you're not worthless because you failed once. You're not doomed because something went wrong. And this isn't asterisk, just your lot in life. Asterisk, it's just your mind, unfiltered, undisciplined. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in. Stoics weren't cold, emotionless types. They were mental warriors. Their motto wasn't asterisk, don't feel asterisk, but asterisk, master what you feel, asterisk, and that starts by observing your thoughts. Like clouds in the sky. You're not the cloud, you're the sky watching it pass. How do you tame those toxic thoughts? First, identify them. Every time a thought like asterisk, I'm no good asterisk, pops up, pause and examine it. Ask yourself, asterisk, is this a fact or an opinion? Asterisk, because we often confuse what we think with what's real. It's like believing every movie trailer is the whole film. Second, challenge them. Respond to that thought like you'd respond to a friend, wallowing in self-pity, saying everything's a mess. Asterisk, really, you always fail. You've never achieved anything. Asterisk, question them like they're rumors, because they are. Third, replace them. This isn't about chanting motivational fluff. Like asterisk, I'm a shining unicorn. Asterisk, it's about building useful thoughts. Instead of asterisk, I'm a disaster asterisk. Try asterisk, I've got work to do, but I'm on it. Asterisk, because what successful people have in common is they force themselves to work on themselves every day, even when they don't feel like it, even when results aren't instant, even with that chainsaw-wielding monkey screaming to give up. Transforming your life isn't magic. It's repetition, consistency, training your mind like you'd train a rusty muscle, with pain, patience, and the firm intention not to be why the first lie your head sells you. Your mind can be a prison or a tool. It can sink you or propel you. The difference lies in whether you take control or stay on autopilot. The good news? You're one decision away from reprogramming it. And you don't need gurus or mirror affirmations. You just need to commit to yourself, because the most important battle you'll ever fight happens every morning in front of the mirror. You can't silence your mind, but you can teach it to speak to you better. 4. Habits that are stealing your life. There are thieves on the loose. They don't wear ski masks or point guns at you. Worse, They sneak into your daily life, disguised as comfort, routine, or asterisk. It's no big deal today, asterisk, and without realizing it, you hand over your hours, your energy, and the most valuable thing you have, your life. Yes, it's that dramatic, because while you convince yourself that asterisk, I'll start tomorrow, asterisk, or asterisk, this isn't a big deal, asterisk, those seemingly harmless habits are draining you like a leaky faucet. You don't notice at first, until one day you look back and wonder when you became a dimmer version of what you could have been. You don't need to make huge mistakes to ruin your life. Just keep repeating small, dumb choices every day. I'm saying it without sugarcoating, because this is about opening your eyes. You wake up and, instead of taking 10 minutes for yourself, you grab your phone. Endless scrolling, news you can change, lives that aren't yours, problems that don't belong to you. That's how your day starts, with your head full of noise and useless comparisons. Then you carry on as usual. Rushed coffee, autopilot tasks, the feeling of being busy while getting nowhere. You're on autopilot, like a zombie with Wi-Fi. And worst of all, you normalize it, but it's not just what you do. It's what you don't do. You don't train your body. You don't train your mind. You don't do anything to pull yourself out of the comfortable mediocrity you're sinking into, and you disguise it with excuses like asterisk, I don't have time, asterisk, asterisk, I'm too old for that, asterisk, I'm not motivated. You know what Stoics do? They face discomfort like it's a GYM for the soul. They don't wait to feel motivated. They act, because they know if you wait for the perfect moment, you'll die waiting. The solution? Force yourself. It's that simple. Force yourself to work on you every day, not out of whim, but out of survival. And number, you don't need 3-hour rituals or an endless list of healthy habits. Just brutal consistency in the essentials. Wake up a little earlier, just half an hour, to be with yourself, not your notifications. Move. Your body isn't made for the couch. Exercise. Even if you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it, think better. Read something that challenges you, that makes you uncomfortable, that pulls you out of your bubble. Stoic philosophy, for example, less drama, more responsibility, Q's asterisk, no asterisk, with kindness. Every time you say asterisk, yes asterisk to something that doesn't add value, you're saying asterisk, no asterisk to your growth. Make it hard, even if it's small, but do it every day. That's your way of shooting to the world that you're not sleepwalking through life. Want to transform your life? Then start treating yourself like an urgent project, not an accident just getting by. Working on yourself isn't a luxury. It's the bare minimum you owe yourself. Your life doesn't fall apart all at once. It fades through habit, and the saddest part is that many call it asterisk, growing up, asterisk, but you're not here to survive on energy-saving mode. You're here to build yourself, to live with intention, so that one day, when you look back, you don't feel like you stole your own life by not bothering to improve. Make every day an investment, not an expense. And remember, if you don't work on yourself, nobody will. Time doesn't ask your permission to pass, but it does demand an explanation when you've wasted it. 5. The power of a morning routine. There's something they don't tell you about success, mental peace, or even just feeling good about yourself. It starts the moment you open your eyes, not with a miracle or a motivational quote stuck on your mirror. It starts with you doing what you don't feel like doing. That's how sexy the secret is. But we're not talking about becoming a productivity robot or doing sunrise yoga while listening to Tibetan mantras. Unless that's your thing, of course. We're talking about having a solid, brutally effective morning routine, one that doesn't need applause, because it shows in your life, not your social media. Your first big mistake of the day isn't cold coffee. It's hitting the snooze button, that little asterisk, 5 more minutes. Asterisk is your mind saying, we're not going all in today. And with that, you've already started losing. Having a morning routine isn't some guru trend or magic formula. It's a declaration of war on inertia. It's telling your brain, asterisk, you don't call the shots, do. Asterisk, it's becoming your own personal trainer. No mirror shouting required. What's so powerful about a morning routine that works in those first hours when the world's still yawning? You can build yourself in silence. And that, my friend, is power. Picture this. You get up, do some exercise, take a cold shower. Yeah, it sucks, but it wakes you up. You read 10 pages of a book, one without pictures, please. And write down your 3 priorities for the day. Total time, 60 minutes. Result, energy, mental clarity, and an inner sense of asterisk. I'm already winning. Asterisk. Too disciplined? Of course. Nobody said working on yourself was comfortable, but it's exactly that discomfort that transforms you. Stoics got this right. They didn't chase pleasure. They chased virtue. They knew self-mastery isn't won in applause, but in daily routines, in those choices nobody sees, but you know you made. Because a morning routine isn't just about organizing your time. It's about taming your character. Ever notice how days that start with rush, chaos, or lethargy leave you feeling dragged along? Every task feels like a mountain, every conversation like a punishment, and you're like a zombie with Wi-Fi. But when you start well, with intention and order, everything flows differently. It's not magic, it's focus. A good routine doesn't make you immune to stress, but it trains you not to drown in it. It gives you structure. When everything outside feels like chaos, it's your anchor. So yes, force yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. Force yourself to get up earlier, to move, to read, to write, to think, to do what builds you, even if it feels like a drag at first. If you dedicate a little time to yourself every morning, in a few months, you won't recognize yourself. And the best part? You'll like the person you're becoming. You don't need to wait for the mood. You need a reason. Your reason is you. Your routine is your way of reminding yourself of that every day. It's not about having more time, but using the time you have better. The difference between a life that slips away and a life you build lies literally in your first hour of the day. Transforming your morning is the first step to stopping living on autopilot. 6. Discipline. Let's call it like it is. If you're waiting to feel like getting your act together, you're in for a long wait. Motivation is like that friend who swears they'll show up early and then arrives when you're sweeping up the confetti. Unreliable, unpredictable, and honestly, a bit useless when it really matters. The solution isn't about waiting, it's about forcing yourself. Yes, forcing yourself to work on you every day. like brushing your teeth. No negotiations. Discipline isn't some gift superhumans have. Waking up at 5 a.m. with a smile fit for a commercial. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it takes training. At first, it hurts. It's exhausting. It's annoying. But if you stick with it, if you don't give in, it starts to strengthen. The secret? Don't overthink it. Your mind is an expert at excuses. Give it time, and it'll convince you that skipping one day doesn't matter. But it does. Every time you procrastinate, you're telling yourself you're not a priority. Think of it this way. You're a locomotive. Starting out is tooth. You feel clumsy, slow, rusty. But if you push a little every day, the movement becomes natural. And eventually, the effort turns into routine. You don't think about it. You just do it. Like breathing, like surviving. And yes, there'll be days when you don't even want to look at your to-do list. Those are the key days. Because right there, when there's no motivation, no energy, no glory, is where character is forged. Not on the easy days. Those don't count. Stoic philosophy nailed it. Do what's right, not what's comfortable. Do what's necessary, not what you feel like. Because if you only act when everything's aligned, you're not in charge. Your emotions are. And emotions, you know, are like the weather. Fickle, moody, and often overblown. So how do you start? When your willpower's on vacation, start small. Ridiculously small. Want to read 1 page. Want to exercise 5 minutes. Want to ditch the phone. Put it on airplane mode for half an hour. It's not the size of the step that matters. It's the consistency. Don't underestimate the power of tiny things done daily. A grain of sand is nothing, but 1,000 grains make a dune. And a dune, if you keep at it, can bury a mountain. The K is committing to yourself, like you're your own boss. Spoiler, you are. Force yourself to show up, even if you're sleepy, doubtful, or lazy. Nobody builds a solid life from the couch, or a strong mind with pretty excuses. Discipline hurts at first, but then it protects you. It turns you into someone who trusts themselves. And that, my friend, you can't buy in any store. If you want to transform your life, start by transforming yourself. And for that, you need less motivation and more decision. Don't chase the spark. Be the fire. Discipline is doing what you said you'd do, even when you no longer feel like it. 7. Stop waiting to feel ready. Let's get one thing straight. You're never going to feel ready. Not today, not tomorrow, and probably not next Monday. When you've marked it as asterisk, the day I start. Asterisk. Why? Because your brain is lazy, comfortable, and a master at crafting excuses that sound logical. Asterisk. It's not the right time. Asterisk. Asterisk. I don't have time now. Asterisk. Asterisk. I'll do it when I'm more motivated. Asterisk. Blah, blah, blah. You've bought into the idea that you need to be inspired to act, like an artist waiting for their muse. But you're not an artist in an existential crisis. You're someone who wants to change their life and keeps waiting for a sign from the heavens. Sorry to ruin the drama, but the sin is you. The idea of asterisk, I'll force myself to work on me every day, asterisk, sounds intense, almost militaristic. But if you don't do it, nobody's coming with a magic wand to fix your existence. There's no perfect day, no ideal moment, no instruction manual for having your life sorted. Without getting off the couch, Ever seen a Stoic complain about not being motivated? No, because Stoics figured out centuries ago what you're still missing. Discipline beats motivation. If you sit around waiting to feel ready, you'll be staring at the clock until your best years are gone. Picture your life as a stationary bike in a locked room. Waiting to feel ready is like waiting for the door to open on its own. But the door only opens if you pedal. The more you pedal, the stronger you get. And then, Wisconsin, without realizing it, you notice you don't need to feel ready anymore. You're moving, and that already makes you someone different. Comfort loves selling you the idea that you've got everything under control by doing nothing. But comfort is a professional con artist. It makes you believe procrastinating is self-care. Avoiding challenges is self-love. And putting things off is emotional maturity. It's not. It never has been. That's just fear with an Instagram filter. The only way to transform your life is through daily work. Not heroic, spectacular work, but quiet, repetitive, almost boring work, like watering a plant every day, without expecting flowers the next week. Force yourself to improve, to grow, to be the version of you that seems impossible right now. Don't wait for motivation. Create a system. Get up at the same time. Read even if you don't feel like it. Exercise even if you're tired. Say no even if it scares you. Transformation starts with uncomfortable decisions, repeated over and over. You're never going to feel ready, and that's okay, because you don't need to feel ready to start. You just need to start to be ready. Every step, no matter how small, is a declaration of war against the mediocrity you've been dragging around. Don't prepare more. Don't train more. Don't excuse more. Act. And if you ever doubt, remember this: waiting to feel ready is just a fancy way of giving up. Those who wait to feel prepared only train their ability to postpone life. 8. Do it even if you don't feel like it. Let's be real. If you only did things when you felt like it, you'd probably still be in BD, phone in hand, with a list of important tasks that magically rewrites itself every night. There's a common trap we all fall into: believing motivation is the engine of everything. Spoiler, it's not. Motivation is fickle. It's like that friend who promises to help you move, and then vanishes the day you need them most. Sure, it shows up now and then, feels great while it lasts, but relying on it to build your life is like using a balloon as a brick. Pretty, but completely useless. You know what does work? Discipline, that word that sounds like a school punishment, but is actually the only thing that saves you from chaos. You don't need to be inspired to exercise, read, work on personal projects, or learn something new. You need to understand that your life won't transform on its own, not by magic, not because the universe conspires in your favor. If you don't conspire for yourself, all you'll get is a catalogue of well-decorated excuses. Picture your personal growth as pushing a boulder uphill. The first day, you say, asterisk, today's the day I'm going to change. Asterisk, you push the boulder 2 meters, then get tired. Asterisk, I'll keep going tomorrow. Asterisk, you tell yourself, but tomorrow comes, and surprise, you don't feel like it, and the boulder, being a boulder, rolls back to the starting point. So, yes, if you don't force yourself to push every day, even when you don't feel like it, there's no peak worth reaching. Stoic philosophy said it. You can't control how you feel, but you can control what you do with those feelings. Stoics didn't wait to feel inspired to act. They knew life is one, in the UN comfortable zone, where there are no fireworks or applause. Just you, your will, and the URG to throw it all to hell. How do you train that? With micro decisions. When you don't feel like getting up, but you do. When you'd rather watch a show, but you read 20 pages instead. It's not about epic feats. It's about small actions that, when added up, transform your life without you even noticing. Think of a muscle. If you wait to feel like training it, it atrophies. The same goes for your willpower. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you leave it to your emotions, the weaker it becomes. It's that simple. Want to move forward? Force yourself to work on you every day. Even when you're sad, tired, lost, or bored. Do it even if you don't feel like it, and win anyway. Because inspiration is a luxury, but discipline is what saves you. Don't wait to feel ready to start. Start, and you'll see how you become unstoppable. 9. Slow results, real progress. We live in the era of everything now. We want quick results, drastic changes, and fireworks. Start the GYM on Monday. Expect abs by Thursday. Read a self-help book. Think you'll wake up enlightened the next day. But life, sadly or thankfully, doesn't work with magic shortcuts. Here's where I pop your balloon. Real progress doesn't make noise. It doesn't have likes, applause, or fanfare. Real change is slow, boring, and often frustrating, but it works. And that's the part almost nobody wants to hear. We're so used to instant transformation stories that we forget how the real world works. We swallow headlines like from broke to millionaire in a year, or lost 66 pounds in 2 months, and think, if they did it, so can I. What they don't tell you is everything that came before. That miracle, year, the failures, the frustration, the days with no drive or hope. Real change isn't like diving into a pool. It's like filling a pool with drops, day after day. No pause, no glamour. Don't underestimate the power of doing something small every day. It's like a termite, quiet, but by the time you notice, it's changed the whole structure. The same goes for you. Read 1 page today. Meditate for 5 minutes tomorrow. Write your thoughts the next day. It doesn't seem like much, but in a year, you've rewired your mind. Stoic philosophy talks a lot about this. Constant work, self-control, training the mind like a muscle. It's not about becoming a Zen monk. It's about reminding yourself every day that you're a work in progress, and the days that feel the hardest are the ones that matter most. Want to change your life? Force yourself to work on you every day. Even if you don't see results, even if nobody claps, even if it feels pointless, because it's not. The fruits don't show up the moment you plant the seed. You know that. You just get impatient if you don't see changes. That's normal. You're not a robot. Some days you'll move forward. Others, you'll just hold your ground. And that's okay. Sometimes progress isn't in what you do, but in what you stop doing. Not giving up, not talking down to yourself, not making excuses. The problem is you're used to rewarding yourself only for big wins. But what if you started valuing the simple act of keeping at it? That's where real transformation lies. Not in the finish line, but in the discipline that keeps you walking, even when there's no motivation. Stop obsessing over drastic changes. You don't need a revolution. You need routine. You don't need miracles. You need patience. Be like a river that, drop by drop, breaks the stone. Silent, steady, unstoppable. And remember, those who chase instant results will quit before they arrive. Results come when you stop looking for them and start earning them. 10. Break everything. You know what happens. When you put a fish in a small tank, it doesn't grow. It just swims in circles, convinced that little puddle with colored rocks is all there is. Now, think about your life. Doesn't it feel a bit like that? You're where you are, not just because of what you do or don't do, but because of what you let surround you. And number, it's not your boss's fault, your mom's, or Instagram's algorithm. It's your environment, your circle, your story, the whole set you've been tolerating, like someone collecting cracked mugs out of nostalgia. Well, it's time to break it all. Yes, just like that. Break everything. You might have the best intentions to improve, grow, reinvent yourself. But if you're surrounded by complaints, excuses, and couch conversations, you're done for. It's like trying to run with rocks in your shoes. No matter how hard you try, you won't get far. And it's not just about people. It's what you consume, what you read, what you watch, even the thoughts you repeat. Like a parrot in your head, your environment isn't just outside. It lives inside, too. If you don't clean it up, it'll keep sabotaging you with a voice saying, asterisk, this is all there is. Asterisk. Changing your environment isn't betraying anyone. It's saving yourself. It's consciously choosing who you sit down to talk with and what kind of conversations you want. It's looking around and asking, asterisk, does this push me forward or hold me back? Asterisk. Some people are only with you out of habit, like decorations that don't match anything, but stay because they've always been there. But growing hurts, and sometimes that means leaving behind those who won't budge. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, tell you the truth even when it stings. People as crazy as you about improving, even if it means waking up early, screwing up, or starting from scratch. And if you don't have anyone like that nearby, go find them. They're out there, trust me. Stoics got this right. If you can't change what's around you, change yourself. And often, when you change, the rest just falls away on its own. There's something heavier than a bad environment or a bad circle. Your story. That tale you've told yourself 1,000 times about why you are the way you are and why you can't change. Spoiler, it's a lie. You believed it because it was comfortable, because it was all you knew, because it worked as an excuse. But you're not doomed to live in a loop. Every day you wake up is a chance to write a new line. Not perfect, not epic, but different. And if you force yourself, yes, force yourself, because motivation comes and goes, but discipline is trained to work on you, even for 10 minutes a day. I promise something starts to shift. Changing isn't pretty. It's not quick, but it's possible. And it starts with breaking what no longer serves you. Don't wait for life to nudge you to move. Sometimes the first step isn't moving forward. It's blowing up the ground you're standing on. Yes, it's scary, but it's also freeing. Remember this, nobody grows where everything stays the same. So if you really want to transform, break everything, what you're too scared to let go of. is exactly what's holding you back. Sometimes you have to set fire to your own cage to realize you always knew how to fly. 11. Celebrate your wins. Some days you wake up ready to take on the world, and others, let's be honest, the world feels so tedious. You wouldn't even glance at it sideways. But here's something maybe nobody dares to tell you clearly. You don't need to be motivated to get things done. You need discipline, because motivation comes and goes, like Wi-Fi in a cheap cafe. Discipline, on the other hand, if you work at it, sticks around. Here's the key point. It's not about doing extraordinary things every day, but doing ordinary things consistently. Yes, that magic word everyone talks about. But practice. You don't need to run a marathon to feel like a winner. Sometimes getting up when you said you would, choosing water over soda, or shutting off Netflix to read 10 pages of a book, that's already a victory. A small one, sure, but real. And you know what happens with those small victories. They're like dominoes. Knock one down, and before you know it, you're changing the direction of your whole life. Stoics understood this well. The power of controlling what's up to you, not the world, not others, but your own actions, no matter how small. Working on yourself isn't opening a meditation app for 5 minutes and expecting divine enlightenment. It's making uncomfortable choices every day. It's forcing yourself to act, even when everything inside screams, tomorrow's better. Because tomorrow, spoiler alert, you won't feel any more eager. How do you transform your life? Without losing your mind, picture your life as a ladder, not a fancy marble spiral staircase, but a gritty, dusty construction ladder where every step is tough. Every day you keep a promise to yourself. You climb a rung every time you give up. You slip back too. It's that simple, that brutal. Want a foolproof technique? Start with the *1 thing a day method. Just one thing, but do it well. Do it even if you don't feel like it. Do it like your life depends on it, because in a way, it does. Today, it might be making conscious choices. Tomorrow, watching what you say. The next day, moving for 20 minutes, bit by bit, because it's not about turning into a Zen version of yourself with ABS and a permanent smile. It's about not abandoning yourself. And if you mess up one day, because you will, don't use it as an excuse to quit. Come back with the same force you were about to give up with, because in this internal battle, the strongest don't win. The ones who get up the most after falling do. You don't need more advice, more motivational videos, or a $400 course to improve your life. You need to do. Do even if you don't feel like it. Do even if you don't see instant results. Do even if nobody claps. Because transformation doesn't hit like lightning. It comes like a gentle, silent, persistent rain. Those drops seem harmless, but over time, they carve stone. That's how change works. That's how you build a different life. Through micro wins, through working on yourself, even when it's tough. Most people underestimate what they can achieve in a day, but overestimate what they'll do someday. 12. The best investment of your life is you. There's something nobody tells you clearly, but sooner or later, you'll face it head-on. Nobody's coming to save you. Not the latest guru, not your horoscope, not that miracle app, promising to fix your life in 21 days. If you keep waiting for something external to give you a push, you'll end up like a shopping cart, with a wonky wheel, moving but going nowhere. Here's the raw truth. You are your best project, and if you don't force yourself to work on you every day, you'll spend your life putting out fires you started through neglect. Yes, it sounds harsh, but what do you prefer? A tough truth or a comforting lie? Picture yourself as a vacant lot, just dirt, nothing else. You can ignore it, let weed grow, trash pile up, and stray cats take over. Or you can roll up your sleeves, sweat a bit, and start building, brick by brick, day by day. This isn't about cheap motivation, it's about commitment. When you stop treating yourself like a failed experiment and start seeing yourself as a work in progress, the game changes. How do you start? With the basics: habits, routine, reading, time to think, sleeping well, eating better. Following people on social media who make you feel like you're late to everything. Ask yourself tough questions. When was the last time you invested in yourself with intention? I'm not talking about a haircut or buying a book you never opened. I'm talking about looking inward and saying, asterisk, let's work on this for real, asterisk. Stoic philosophy has something brilliant we often overlook. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. So instead of crying because the train passed you by, why not focus on building your own tracks? And better yet, your own train. Of course, it'll be hard. Of course, it'll hurt. Nobody transforms their life between memes and naps. But trust me, there's no dumber pain than knowing you could have done better and didn't because of laziness. Working on yourself is like going to the gym for your soul. It hurts. It's boring. Sometimes it feels like you're not moving forward, but one day you wake up and it starts to make sense. You feel stronger, clearer, more you. And here's the conclusion you might not expect. You're not just failing yourself. When you stop trying, you're failing yourself. Every day you choose to survive instead of live. You can keep postponing yourself, but the price for that is paid by nobody but you. So stop looking outside for what can only be built inside. You're not an accident waiting to happen. You're a project in development, the most important one of your life. And like any smart investment, it takes consistency, patience, and faith. Force yourself to work on you, even if you don't feel like it, even if it's tough, even if it hurts, because everything you're chasing out there starts with you. If you don't invest in yourself, you'll end up working for the dreams of someone who did. If you made it this far, drop asterisk, nobody's going to save me asterisk in the comments. I invite you to subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment so YouTube knows. These videos are valuable for people like you. That motivates us to keep creating similar content in the future. Check out the 2 videos we recommended last. They're worth your time. Thanks for your time and support. See you in our next adventure.